Welcome to Not Guilty, Lawyers, Guns, and Money.
Welcome back to Not Guilty, Lawyers, Guns, and Money with Edward D. Johnson III, founding attorney of Edward Johnson and Associates PC. Since 2014, Edward has earned recognition as one of Illinois' top criminal defense attorneys, known for defending serious charges involving guns, drugs, and DUI. I'm Kevin Rosenquist, and today we're talking about what really happens after a DUI arrest in Illinois, from that first flashing light in the mirror to the court date that follows. Edward, welcome back.
Good to be back. Thanks, Kevin.
So most DUI arrests start the same way. Traffic stop might seem routine. What usually causes those encounters to escalate into an arrest?
You know, you'll be surprised. These cops, if they pull you over past about 11 o'clock, they're trying to write you a DUI. They got performance-based evaluations where they have to get, they don't call it a quota, but it's a performance-enhancing investigation. And they're trying to see if you've been drinking. You know, they're going to look in the car. As soon as they walk up, if there's something in the cup holder, you got open alcohol, they're going to have questions for you, believe it or not. You can imagine, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But they're trying to see, you know, how you look. They're trying to see why they pulled you over. Like if you're smashed into a tree and you're just sitting there, they're going to start asking you questions. They're going to want to know, have you been drinking? They're going to want you to get out of the car. You got to get out of the car. That seems to be, people keep forgetting that. But if the police ask you to get out, you got to get out. Get out of the car. I don't know why there's this whole gambit of people that don't think they have to get out. No matter what, in a traffic stop, if the police ask you to get out of the car, get out of the car. You don't have to get in their car. You can go stand on the safe part of the road, but they're going to ask you questions. If you admit to drinking, it's just going to escalate this more. A lot of people say, you know, what's the saying? I had a couple. You know, it's never a couple. And they're going to want you to do field sobriety tests. If anyone doesn't know what those are yet, you know, those are 3 different tests that they use to see if you're impaired or if you've consumed alcohol. And they check your eyes, they check your balance, and then your ability to follow directions. And these tests aren't made to help you at all. And people think they pass all the time, and they didn't even do the test right. It's wild. I can tell you stories for days.
Yeah, I think we may have talked about this on a previous podcast, or maybe I just remember talking with my buddies. But I mean, those tests, I feel like I do poorly at them if I was stone cold sober, because you're in a situation, you're on the side of the road, you might have traffic going by you, you're nervous, you've been pulled over, you're being accused of something. I mean, these are all like your stress level would be through the roof.
No, it's anxiety's through the roof. You're shaking. You don't know why you're getting pulled over. You know, and then you got to try to balance on one foot for 30 seconds, and it's
touch your nose and
tough. Yeah, there's a couple tricks to them, but the HGN, I don't think any police officers actually done that correct. I have a DUI expert. We go through it. There's so many passes they have to do: left, right, up, down, and that's just to see if you have a little bit of a tick in your eye. And that shows that you have consumed alcohol. That is no proof of impairment, nothing whatsoever. It's just to check to see, okay, this is what, you know, they consumed alcohol. That's all that first one is. The second one is the one leg stand test. You pick a leg, lift the other leg up. They want you to kind of put your hands to the side and count to 30 or count till they tell you to stop. Now, a little trick is, if you're going to look at anything, try to look at something that's very fixed. So something like a light pole. Don't look at it like a flag or something that's moving. You want something that's you can key on for your balance, even if you're bad at balancing. If anything happens, that's what you got to do. And then the walk and turn test is you have to follow every single direction to that, because they want you to do 9 steps, heel to toe, with your hands to your side, and then turn around a special way, and then go back 9, count the whole time, and and keep your arms to your side the whole time. If you just move your arms out, you're gonna lose points. You know, they're gonna find a way to charge you with DUI. But what I tell everybody, if there's any questions of you consuming alcohol or not, you don't have to do the test. You don't have to do a breath test in Illinois. Don't have to do field sobriety tests. They pulled you over. Okay. What evidence do they have that you're drunk? They don't. They don't have any. It's only what you give them. Now, you're not exactly entitled to an attorney right away, but you have the right to remain silent, and you can just wait for yourself to be able to contact an attorney. They'll say, do you want to do these tests? No, I don't consent to the test. Can we draw your blood? No, I don't consent to a blood draw. Those types of things don't have to consent to. You can protect yourself. And once they write you all the tickets, they're going to tow your car. That's kind of the situation you're in. Under the new laws, like, you're going to get released. You don't even have to post bond anymore, but you're going to have to get your car out. You're going to have to pay those fees. You're going to have to fight the case in court, as well as fight a license suspension.
So you said you don't have to do that. I know every state's different, because I've talked to lawyers before that basically in their state, they say, if you don't do it, you're going down to the precinct. They're going to get your blood anyway. They're going to be able to do it anyway. So in Illinois, what happens if you refuse?
So if you refuse the breath test or the blood draw, then there's an automatic letter that gets sent to the Secretary of State, which 46 days after the arrest, they're going to suspend your license. If you get pulled over for DUI, call our office. We can represent you. We do a ton of these. We have I've actually coined the term a DUI packet, which is this huge packet of documents that we file on your behalf to try to get your license reinstated as fast as possible. And it sets a date and a timer for the state's attorney to give you a hearing to get your license back, either 30 days from when we file it or the first court date, depending which is farther out. And that is the key to getting your license back. That if there's anything you get from this video, is hire an attorney that files a petition to rescind or a DUI packet that we file, because it's like a civil filing, and there's a lot of different discovery techniques we can use within that filing and within the procedural laws in civil court that we normally wouldn't have in criminal court, like witness subpoenas, notices to produce, motions to admit facts, certain things that really help your case, as well as that timeline that I was talking about. The clock starts ticking about 30 days or whichever is farther than the first court date. If they're not ready and they haven't gave you the evidence by that date, let's say you get pulled over on the 1st and you hire an attorney and your court date's not till the following month, like a couple days into that following week. So you're past 30 days. We file that packet on the first day that they have to bring you to court. If they haven't gave us all the things we subpoenaed, all the stuff we requested in the notice to produce, and I haven't had time to review it, like, they can't just give it to me the first day and be like, all right, we're ready, right? So once I have it, okay, we can be prepared. If I don't have it, they have to actually give your license back. So it almost is like a default for you to get your license rescinded. You file it, boom, they're not ready. Okay, we'll agree to give them the license back, but he's still got to fight the criminal case. And I think my clients, they're so happy that they don't lose their license. It's a really good situation for them. And then, we'll get the discovery and we'll work on the criminal case. But things, if they refuse to do those testing, like I told you earlier, that's great. If they haven't admitted to consuming alcohol, fantastic, because you weren't drunk. There's just a situation where the officer thought this. Can they prove it beyond a reasonable doubt? Probably not if you haven't given them any evidence. But you got to be careful about it. And sometimes it's hard when you've had a couple drinks or too many drinks. So it's not the end of the world. If you haven't done all that stuff, there's still certain things you can do and situations that happen, but you'll be in good shape. Especially call my office about it. We can help you.
It's such a tricky situation too, because nobody wants someone who's hammered on the road, but at the same time, and people's tolerance is different. People, sometimes it's just like you could have a couple of beers and, like you said, that's the famous line, right? Oh, I only had a couple, but so you're saying like basically, so when it gets to that criminal spot, you're right. I mean, they don't have a whole lot to work with if you didn't give them any evidence. So what would be their defense or their prosecution in that situation if it goes to court?
Yeah, it's going to be minimal, Kevin. Like, they're going to say, oh, his eyes were red. I think that, slurred speech, maybe smell. And, if you smell like alcohol, it's actually, alcohol doesn't have a smell. So whenever they say that, it's not possible. So there's certain things a lawyer, experienced lawyer like myself or anyone else who's done a gazillion of these cases, you run into these same things or these same officers. There's people that kind of skew the scale towards the state, and they're just trying to get their performance points. we can help.
Yeah.
And not giving them the evidence makes it easier substantially. And like we talked about earlier, if you refuse the test and you get a longer suspension, it doesn't mean you can't drive either. You can get a permit in your car to use a breathalyzer, or you can hire an attorney and try to petition to get your license back before it's even suspended. Because if you get it between that timeline I'm talking about, a lot of times people's license gets rescinded before it even gets suspended, because there's that 46-day waiting period before the court date before they suspend it. So you got a little window where you can still drive even the next day after you get a DUI. Your license is still valid for 46 days. So you can drive, you can come to my office, you can bring all the paperwork in, we get you signed up, you can go to work. And after that, if let's say you can't drive, your license gets suspended, you can also get a permit for a breathalyzer in your car, and you can drive anywhere as long as you can blow in the breathalyzer and the car starts.
Yeah, at the top of the show, you said something about they've got quotas to meet, or they've got a lot of the cops have to do this. I mean, I remember being in Chicago. I had been pulled over before, and it was almost like the cop was disappointed when he realized I wasn't drunk. I don't know, maybe I did something stupid. Maybe I turned funny or something like that on the road. Maybe he just saw me and assumed. I don't remember, but I remember it being. I was pretty young, but I remember him being just like looking around in the car and stuff like that. Where you heading? Blah blah blah. All right, get out of here. It was like one of those types of things.
Yeah, they were either looking for DUI, or there's a couple highways where kids from the suburbs drive down to try to buy drugs. They'll pull you over and search you and see what's going on with that too. But
yeah,
there's a whole lot of situations. I would say in the city it's a little different. When you get in the suburbs, I would call it DUI alley. They set up roadblocks. They'll stop people on the interstate, and that's a whole different thing you forget about. You'll be driving on the interstate thinking, oh, I'm not going to get pulled over here, I'm not too drunk. Then there's a checkpoint, and you're like, uh-oh. They start going through cones, doing all that stuff, and then they got to get you out of the car. They do all these tests, and you're in a whole gambit. That's when they're really writing DUIs, when they set up checkpoints. That's more around the summer, but during the NFL periods too, there's a lot of roadblocks, especially after like Bears games and things. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, after the Bears games, I've definitely heard of that before. People driving back to the suburbs from the games. Yeah, wow, crazy stuff.
We had the officers, like they would go Bears, like they would say to the other cop to kind of signal like this guy was at the Bears game, go Bears, really, it's kind of their code word, like this guy's hammered,
like this guy's pull this guy over, he's drunk. Oh yeah, wow.
Right. You're still in face paint, and you're driving, half your body's painted one color and the other, you gotta get on the train. You shouldn't be driving.
You got to get on the train. Yep. Take the L in that scenario. Mm-hmm. So beyond the courtroom, what are some of the consequences that people face after a DUI, whether it's employment, insurance, travel, whatnot?
Yeah, people run into a lot of issues. The biggest one's the license reinstatement or license suspension. That causes so many problems for people, because if you get caught driving without a license or without a permit and they catch you, it's a felony. So can you imagine, you're thinking, oh, I'll just drive, I won't get caught. You're going to get caught. If you're driving your car with the same plates that are registered to you, they have plate readers and all these body-worn cams and dash cams that reads the license plate and will tell them in a millisecond if your registration's good, if your license is good. They're going to pull you over. It's risky, and that's a big problem. Yeah, insurance goes up if you're convicted. Now, if it's your first time DUI, that's not going to happen right away. It's not the end of the world. Don't get discouraged. But yeah, there could be some insurance issues. I haven't seen anything with employment yet. There's certain people, like nursing and different healthcare requirements for those issues, but I haven't ran into a ton of it with employment. Everyone's worried about their insurance going up because that's expensive enough already, and their license being valid, and those are the biggest ones. And of course, there's financial. These things are expensive. Like you're going to hire an attorney, you got to pay the reinstatement fees, you got to do all these other things. It adds up, and if you're out in like DuPage County and these other ones, you should see these court costs, man. They're thousands of dollars of just fees. It's not even a fine. This is just for like having the court and paying the judge. They're so high. It's astronomical. You'll be shocked.
So what would you advise anyone listening, like if they get, if they get pulled over, or even if they get arrested for a DUI, whatever, what are your do's and don't do's?
I would say the best thing to do is to not talk. You got to answer their questions a little bit, where you go at them, you just tell them, they're going to ask you questions. You got to be able to answer them. No, you don't. You don't have to talk to them. Give them license, registration, where you going? I'm going north. That's enough said. If they keep asking you questions, be like, are you going to write me a ticket? That's it. If they're like, no, I smell alcohol, I want to ask you some questions, get out of the car. Got to get out of the car. But you don't have to do field sobriety tests. You don't have to do a blood test. You're going to jail anyways. So just be prepared for it. Don't talk to the police. Don't say this is a mistake or, anything you could imagine. Like, my lawyer told me not to do this because I'd fail it or something like that. It's not going to help you. You got to say,
Ed, I saw a video. This guy named Edward told me not to do this.
Don't do it because I'm fucked if I take it. No, don't say that. Don't say that. But you can imagine, like, it's stressful. There's like anxiety.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to do any tests. They're going to take you. You're going to be in jail for like 4 hours. Get released unless you're like super smashed, and they'll hold you a little bit longer. But there's no cash bail in Illinois anymore, so they're just going to take you in, process you, run your background, make sure you don't have any warrants. Then they'll let you call, get someone to come pick you up. You get your car next couple of days, and we'll fight it in court. That's all that's going to happen. You're not going to be stuck in the slammer for a long time. Half these municipalities don't have the infrastructure to even hold you that long.
Right.
And now they don't need cash bail. So it's going to be okay. We'll get it sorted.
Yeah. A lot of times they got bigger fish to fry too, right?
Yeah. They just don't have the funding or space.
Yeah.
They pick up 2 people in a weekend. They want to get you out of there.
Yeah.
Whenever they think that you can leave, they're not going to let you drive the car. You got to get picked up. But, after that, they'll be like, your car will be on a 12-hour hold. And, you come back the next day and get it out of the impound lot. But if you don't give them any evidence, we can fight it in court. The process. You're going to get taken in. You're going to get handcuffed. It's just going to happen. We'll deal with it. It's going to be okay.
Yeah. I think that's good advice. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to Not Guilty. Lawyers, Guns, and Money with Edward D. Johnson III of Edward Johnson and Associates, PC. If you or someone you know is facing a DUI charge, visit edwardjohnsonlaw.com to learn more about protecting your license, your record, and your future. Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review. We would appreciate all of it. Edward, I always appreciate chatting with you. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Kevin. Me too. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.